Like Zuffa Boxing is their own side of the street, and they're building up. They're putting together a crazy roster, my peoples. You got to give them their respect. Got to give it to them. Remember, this is year one. This is the first year. And in the first year, that's what we're getting from Zuffa Boxing, fellas. Come on, man. Zuffa Boxing is for real, my peoples. In year one, we're witnessing the buildup. We're witnessing how Zuffa Boxing goes from zero to where they are right now, which is 5 cards into Zuffa Boxing. They've done 5 cards so far. So far, 5 cards, and you already see the names that they've been able to sign to Zuffa Boxing. So we have to understand, not only are Dana White and Zuffa Boxing here to stay, they putting together something serious over there. We have to see how this situation is going to shape up because, again, right now you saw Richardson Hitchens, but who you got on Zuffa Boxing that you can match him up with? You're going to have to match him up with a nobody. The same thing with Edgar Berlanga, who you got to match him up with. So I think it's going to take some time before you see star versus star fighting on Zuffa Boxing. But they working on it, my peoples. They building that. Don't get it twisted. The letter M. Edgar Berlanga is going to get a rude awakening and get beat up by a hungry fighter. Young Guns, salute family, bam. So I'm going to say this, the letter M. Edgar Berlanga, you guys know that I jumped off of that bandwagon a long time ago. I don't believe him. So I think that is what's going to happen. They're going to end up matching him up. Maybe not right away, but he'll end up fighting, one of their better guys. And he'll end up getting beat up. The letter M. After a year or two, the ranking will get adjusted and we will see who is the serious top crop of the fighters. And they building that roster, my people. They doing an amazing job. They doing it. They going hard. They pursuing fighters aggressively. So you have to take this into consideration, my peoples. When Zuffa Boxing first, announced that they're going to be not acknowledging the sanctioning bodies, that they're going to have their own belt and all of that stuff, that kind of put a lot of people off. Like, nah, man, that thing is not going to work. It's going to be, it's going to be good, but it's going to be kind of like Pro Box or Misfits or these other leagues that are not quite there yet as far as popularity goes. Well, look what we've already seen. Zuffa Boxing signing Richardson Hitchens and Edgar Berlanga on the same day they announced those 2 signings. And you see the roster that they're putting together. You see it, my peoples. Look at some of the names of the fighters who already signed with Zuffa Boxing. You got Jai Opataya. Now you got Richardson Hitchens and Edgar Berlanga. You have Conor Benn, Edwin De Los Santos, Rayo Valenzuela. You have Mike Sayo, who just won the other day. They put it together a deep roster, and they bringing in stars. And they bringing in young talent, fighters who in the future you can expect to be fighting for world titles. So Dana White is doing everything right to build up that brand. If you don't like Zuffa Boxing, if you're like, nah, Zuffa's no good, you have just already made a decision and you want to stick with it. But is Zuffa Boxing bad for the sweet science? Is it bad or is it good for the sport of boxing? Hell no, it's good. How could we say Zuffa Boxing is not good when we see not just the roster that they're putting together, but the fights that they have already put up? Come on now. Zuffa Boxing is giving us the goods, my peoples. The letter M, I thought they was gonna a Zuffa show like The Contender. Remember that show? So that didn't cross my mind. I do remember that show. Maybe that's something that Dana White is going to do at some point. Do some type of tournament. They get more revenue. They make more money. That's probably already in the works. Maybe they're gonna do a special series for Paramount Plus or something like that. You never know. Right now their ranking system is on zero because we're just starting off, right? And it's a whole brand new league. But as they say, la creme de la creme is gonna slowly but surely stand out by winning and winning and winning. The letter M, Zuffa Boxing is adding to the sport. More boxing, the more the culture thrives. That's a fact. And then Zuffa, you see that they're doing the Sunday fights, the Sunday cards. I love it. They're going to take over Sundays. That was a smart move. You don't have to compete where most of the big fights which take place on Saturdays. You don't have to go head to head with them. You're on Sundays. And then us fans, we not mad at, getting fights on Saturday and getting fights on Sundays. And they're not happening at the same time, so we don't have to miss out on these fights to catch these. Young Guns, Zuffa doesn't have 140 weight class. Guess Hitchens go to 147. I guess so. There you have it. Richardson Hitchens will be at 147 at welterweight. Look, we have to see how these things develop because I think with time, we might see Zuffa make an adjustment to some of their rules, making some changes. Because you remember when Dana White first said that, they wasn't going to recognize the sanctioning bodies, that meant that they wasn't going to match up their fighters with people that are fighting for belts or that are, fighting on a sanctioned card for sanctioned fights. But now, or afterwards, Dana said, no, we're going to let the fighters pursue their dream if they want to do that. So he kind of went back on that original statement. So we have to see how many different rules could end up changing. Clubber Lang. They got Bumlanga. Oh, wait a minute, but they got Richardson Hitchens too. And little by little, my peoples, if you look at those fighters, Jayo Pataya, we're talking about a world champion. Richardson Hitchens, a world champion. Mark Magsayo, he's been a world champion. Edgar Berlanga, well, Conor Ben, we know what he can do. Efe Ajagba, he's a guy who has the potential to become a world champion. We're talking, Rayo Valenzuela has been a world champion. Come on, my peoples. Edwin De Los Santos is a fighter who we know the type of skills that he brings to the table. So they signing fighters left and right, my peoples. Don't get it twisted. The letter M. Zuffa Sundays can be their legacy if they're smart about it. I'm telling you, that was a very good decision to put on their cards on Sunday night. That was good. You're not competing with other fights. Sometimes we see fights on Sundays, but for the most part, they'll take place on Saturdays. Especially when it's big fights, championship fights, that's for Saturdays. So Dana White and Zuffa Boxing, they're going to take over on Sundays. That's going to be their day. They got that. They got it. And since we're talking about Zuffa Boxing, let me just bring this up, my peoples. Conor Ben versus Regis Prograis is on the way. That's about to go down, fellas. Come on now. Come on, my peoples. I'm excited about this fight, although I think Regis might end up just getting pummeled brutally. But I'm excited about it because what if he proved me wrong? That happens. Just last weekend, a lot of us thought Wilder was going to get knocked out. And he got the dub. Sorry, our Regis was injured going in. I think I seen him with like something in his foot, some type of cast. I hope Regis Prograis is going to go into this fight okay. I hate it when they have an excuse ahead of time already. If he gets pummeled, I don't want to hear about no leg. The letter M. Maybe Zuffa gonna build toward a Ben versus Hitchens fighter after Prograis. Let's see. That's a possibility. And look, that's why earlier I mentioned the side of the street situation, because it makes me wonder, okay, if Conor Ben beats Regis Prograis, right? You guys remember that he was saying he was going to end up fighting Ryan Garcia afterwards. But Ryan Garcia's on Golden Boy, and Conor Ben might be on Zuffa. Oscar De La Hoya is not doing no type of business with Dana White. Don't tell me otherwise. De La Hoya not doing business with no Dana White. So, is Conor Ben outside of the Ryan Garcia sweepstake now that he's with Zuffa? Libra 809. Who you got when it comes to Xander versus Prograis? I mean, Boots. Okay. Xander versus Boots. I haven't made that prediction yet. I will be making it, but I'm not ready, bro. That's a tough prediction to make, my guy. But I'm gonna make it, but I'm not there just yet. The letter M. Only White Oscar is doing this, Jay. I got Boats. Boots gonna be the favorite going in. I'm telling you that right now. And when a fighter's the favorite, you know that most people are going to be rooting for them or expecting them to win. Who's going to be the favorite? You got to expect that. Now, can Xander Sayas pull off the upset, shake up the world? Let's see. We're going to find out. I think there's going to be a very entertaining fight to watch. I think it is going to be competitive. Although both fighters have the power to hurt their opponent, both fighters can, turn the fight into what they want it to be if they land that shot. We have to see. We have to see how this fight plays out. Which, by the way, since you guys are talking about Jaron Bruce Anderson, Xander Sayas, did you see the presser yesterday? In that press conference, you see the confidence in Xander Sayas. You can see that he felt comfortable standing right there in front of Booth, smiling at him, letting him know what he's going to do and all of that. This stage right now is not too big for Xander Sayas. And I like that. And, of course, Booth is ready. Booth is feeling like, well, I'm going to smoke this kid. I'm going to show him his levels to this. Booth is out there to show him about the different levels. Xander is there to show him that he is what he say he is. He is who he say he is. So this is going to be a very exciting fight. You have an African-American fighter versus a Puerto Rican fighter. There's a lot of history there. There's going to be another installment of that series. And I'm going to say it right now, man, whichever one of these guys win the fight, they're probably going to land on the pound-for-pound list. They're probably going to overtake Oscar Collazo, who's in the number 10 spot. And Collazo, he's a great fighter. He deserved to be in that spot. But, this is going to be a very big win for either fighter. This is one of those, and we don't get too many of these, but this is one of those where you have two elite level fighters, both undefeated, and somebody's always gonna go. This is one of those. We don't always get that, my peoples. We're gonna get that right now. Come on now. We gotta savor this one. Marie, the press gave me answers. Shackle hands, bam, salute family. The letter M, yo, J. Who gets hit less, Sayas or Boost? That will determine the winner, in my opinion. Who gets hit less? I mean, I gotta say, Boost get hit less. I mean, here's the deal. They both got fights where they got hit a lot. I think both of them could get a little bit irresponsible with the defense and get caught slipping. I think they both get hit, but take this into consideration. They both get hit, but Boots does have the better defense. He got the better defense. He got the better overall. You know, if we look at the footwork, the head movement, the waist, the angles, Boots got the better defense. So but they both get hit, to be fair. Marie, Boots says Xander got such a big head, he will never miss that dome shot. Yeah, I seen it in the press yesterday. He was going at it. They was going at it. Rona, 1999. This is what boxing should be about. These are the fights we should want. Either or, they both going to level up after this great scrap. I agree with you 100%. And I was saying in yesterday's episode of Boxing for Breakfast that this is the perfect time for Xander Sayas to take this fight. You know why? Because guess what? If he loses, by the way, shout out to everybody on Box Center 2.0 tuning in. Ghost watching some of y'all. Hit the like button. Stop playing games in 2026. I want to say this is a good time for Xander Sayas to take this fight because he's only 23 years old. If he loses, remember Canelo? When he lost to Floyd at 23, he went on a crazy Hall of Fame run and put together a crazy resume after losing to Floyd. Got a lot better. So if Xander Sayas happened to take his first L to Jerome Boots Ennis, guess what? He moves up to 160 right away, grabs a title, and goes on a Hall of Fame run, just like Canelo Alvarez. Like, we're in 2026, so of course if he loses to Boots, there's going to be a lot of fans who say, oh, he a hype job. He ain't know that. He a bum. He overrated. They always do that when an undefeated fighter lose. But Xander Sayas got that real talent. He got them real skills. So if he does lose, he's still going to be able to have a great career moving forward. That's why this is a great time for him to take that fight. This L is not going to define his career. And he's risking it. Like Xander Sayas beat Jerome Boots Ennis. Bro, he's shooting to superstardom right away. He on the pound for pound list the next morning. So he risking it. You got to risk it sometimes. We fight all night. There will be a clear skill and speed gap. This fight won't be close. Orona, salute to all. God bless. Salute, family. John Island, Xander in 3 times for Boots to get dead like Felicia Haney. Jermaine McPherson, first time watching. Salute. Salute, family. Bam. And yo, listen, Jermaine, give us your prediction right away. Since it's your first time watching, you got Jerome Boots Ennis or Xander Sayas pulling off the upset. Who you got, family? The letter M. Boots gonna try some Neo Matrix shit, and Xander is gonna clip him. I can't wait. John Island, Boots, Haney, Bradley, and Judah, all hype jobs. Orona, I agree. Reminds me when Canelo lost to Floyd, and that's what I'm saying. Canelo was only 23 years old. He lost to Floyd, but he started to get better immediately. Lost to Floyd, the very next fight, he was way better, and he just kept getting better and better. And you see, he went on a Hall of Fame run. Hall of Fame run for Canelo Alvarez after losing to Floyd Mayweather. So we could see the same thing from Xander Sayas if he loses to Boots at 23 years old. Salute to everybody tuning in on Box Center 2.0. What's the deal, my peoples? HJ, hi, uncle. God bless you. Salute, family. Bam. Appreciate you dropping in. We talking boxing. Listen, my people. Listen. This fight right here, I honestly believe is going to be competitive. I really believe that Xander Sayas is better than a lot of fans think. Because I remember when people were saying, oh, Xander Sayas is the weakest link. He's the weakest guy, the weakest champion at 154. Meanwhile, Xander Sayas is the guy trying to fight Jerome Boots Ennis, and he's the guy who made it happen. The guy who made it happen, my peoples, is Xander Sayas. Gotta respect it. Gotta respect it. Orona, man, the whole boxing community surprised me because we haven't seen this since Floyd versus Canelo. See? And that's one thing that we don't get often enough. Two young, undefeated, elite level champions going at it. We don't get that enough. We want more of it. You know, normally, and we're tired of it, to be honest. Normally, a 23-year-old champion like Xander Sayas, they got him cherry picking a bunch of easy fights. They got him fighting a bunch of easy fights, a bunch of guys that you never heard of. You know, they padding that resume up. Look, man, with Xander Sayas, I don't think any of us would have expected for him to be fighting on Bruce Ennis. And that's exactly what we're getting. And by the way, I want to say this, and I said it before, Xander Sayas is a throwback fighter. He's an old school fighter with that mindset. Fight anybody. I'll beat everybody. He really feel like that about himself. And he's proving it. Really, really about that smoke. Y'all remember when Sebastian Fundora fought, not his last fight, before that, he won and Xander Sayas was there. And he tried to do a face-off with him and everything. So Sayas been trying to fight Fundora, been trying to fight Tim Tszyu when he was undefeated, been trying to fight Josh Kelly. He really trying to fight everybody. He's for real, my people. You got to respect the young gun. Clarence McLean, top of the morning. Salute, family. Bam. Queen, Boost has the better defense, but Boost take the most risks. I mean, I think both of them take risks because they like to fight on the inside. They like to trade leather, both of them. Ronaldo, good morning. There's 21, only 15 likes. Come on, my peoples. We still ghost watching in 2026. Hit that like button. We fight all night TV. He is good, but he just doesn't have the speed or style to threaten Boots. The letter M, excuses. Just bang. Sayas will have no excuses. No, and look, I expect Xander Sayas to be the best version of himself. I expect Boots to also be the best version of himself. We're looking at two world champions, two undefeated world champions, two elite level fighters. So my personal expectations are that this fight is going to be competitive. My expectation, this is going to be competitive. This is going to be a real good fight. But I also understand the point of view of some people because that's been a narrative that Xander Sayas is the weakest link at 154. Well, we're going to find out. When he fights around Bruce Ennis, people are really going to understand his level of skills. The letter, Clarence McLean. Yesterday, both guys look ready. Seen it for myself. You see, when you see them right there face to face, they look ready to go. They, man, listen. In that presser, they look like they wanted to go at it right then and there. Jermaine McPherson, that's a true fact. Ronaldo, everyone think Bulls have this on the bag. Don't be surprised. I'm going to keep saying this. Don't be surprised. Marie, that's true. Even Abdullah Mason, they also begin to move him the same way. You see? And we love to see it. We love when they take a young fighter. Okay, you him? You're gonna have to show us that then. And we're seeing it. Clarence McLean, smash that like button. Come on, my peoples. No ghost watching in 2026. Double tap that screen. Jermaine McPherson. I'm going B on this one, honestly. So, it's like I told everyone, Boots is going to be the favorite. So, I think the overwhelming majority of fans will side with Boots. But don't sleep on Xander Sayas. Don't think that he's just going to go out there and get washed. He's not getting washed, bro. He really the truth like that. He that for real. Claymore Rain in the building. This will be more competitive than people think. It will be shout out to the boxer. Ooh, salute family. Bam, Claymore Rain is in the building, my peoples. Pugilism. It's going to be a draw. Xander, a popular underdog and champion. Boots, a popular favorite. Draw, like Wilder Fury 1 and make the trilogy. Everybody wins. Honestly, I don't see a draw in this fight. It sounds interesting. I don't see it, man. I don't see a draw. I think somebody is going to win this fight. I think it'll be one of those that's very competitive, and maybe in the championship round, somebody takes it away. Or maybe before they get to that, maybe by the time they get to the 8th or the 9th, somebody's imposing their will, imposing their style. Queen, it's funny how much Xander is being associated with losing. I mean, the guy's never even taken a loss in his life. And people got it like he's going to get washed out there. Ronaldo, Jay, you call it. You must have the inside scoop. Because how you knew that Edgar Berlanga was going to Zuffa? We need Jake to be on ESPN. I'm waiting, man. ESPN, The Zone. One of them, they're going to give me a call at some point. They're going to understand that I'm him. But I have seen little rumors, talked to different people, and there had been rumors going around about Edgar Berlanga going to Zuffa. Now it's official. And it's crazy because now we see how big of a deal Zuffa boxing is going to be. Ronaldo, Xander have good body shots. And he's going to be going to the body on Boots. But Boots is going to be returning the favor as well. Believe it. Believe it, my peoples. Clarence McLean, someone is going to get 2 black eyes drawn on their face. Look, my peoples. I got to say this. If you think about it, it's been some time that we spoke about this potential matchup. I think the first time I brought it up was probably 3 weeks ago. Probably 3 weeks ago around there. I brought it up and I said, if this fight happens, most fans are going to say, Boost is cooking Xander size. You're going to cook him. And we've seen it in the show. A lot of people saying, yo, Xander's going to get cooked because he's being considered the weakest link amongst the champions at 154. I'm telling you, my peoples, just like Claymore Rain said earlier, it's going to be a competitive fight, man. Y'all disrespecting Xander Sayers and what he brings to the table. Claymore Rain, Keith Connolly is the common denominator, ladies and gentlemen. Teo should be next. Ooh. Look, Teofimo Lopez, right now, he's kind of in the air after losing to Shakur Stevenson. So, and we spoke about that the other day, about him ending up on Zuffa Boxing. We're going to find out. We're going to see. Jermaine McPherson, I think so. Daniel Negron, Xander got to show me something. Not like Stanionis, who did nothing to Boots. The letter M, Jay Smith on The Zone. I can see you saying, I ain't like it. Cooking them on the show for gas and bullshit. Oh my God, yo. I think a lot of them dudes will end up being my enemies. Like, damn, this motherfucker cooking me on live TV. Put me on The Zone, put me on ESPN, put me on Amazon Prime. Wherever you put me, I'm going to cook. I'm just waiting. Let me put my foot in that door. When I get my foot in there, it's going to be a wrap. I'm going to go berserk, my peoples. Underrated Will. Devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen. They ready for this. They ready for this real fight commentary. Yo, sometimes I'll be watching fights and the commentary be having me bored. Like, the fight be more exciting. Like, you're excited about the fight, but the commentary is like, damn, this motherfucker gonna put me to sleep over here. It's like he's not even watching a fight. Claymore Rain. How about fight, Jay Smith? Listen, if I could get a fight, Claymore Rain, you'll see me fighting on there too. Don't get it twisted, man. I'm dying to get a fight. The letter M. You would be good with Kellerman. You know, I think me and Max Kellerman will collide a little bit, but collide in a good way. I got a lot of respect for Max. I've been watching him for a lot of years. But lately, like after he signed with Zuffa Boxing, with them people, he's been having some point of views that I feel like is not his point of view, is more aligned with the company he's with. And he says some funny things here and there. So I think me and Max, we have some real good conversations, some real good debates, but we'll collide here and there. 300, Pink King. I'm Puerto Rican, and I think Zayas ain't ready for Boots. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. A lot of us didn't think he was ready for this fight. A lot of us. You ain't the only one. There's a lot of people that's rocking with you on that one. But once they make the fight, it's a done deal. It's happening. It's happening. So now you have to assess how you think it plays out. But before they announced it officially, they don't gotta fight Boots. Tory. He could go and do some voluntary title defenses. But he chose to fight Jerome Boots Ennis. You gotta give him his credit for that. You gotta give him his flowers. My peoples, Greg Hackett in the building. GHBTV. Salute, family. Bam! Yo, Greg Hackett. Conference yesterday. You seen him, man. Xander Sides, he looked like he ready for that smoke. And Boots, he's smiling in his face. Boots feel like, yeah, I'm going to handle my business right here. I think Boots is approaching this fight like, this is going to be my first big name that I'm going to put on my resume, and I'm going to show out. I'm going to show them. All the naysayers, I'm going to show them with this guy. 300 Pink King. He a real one for that one for sure. Like, that's a big fight, man. That's a big challenge to take on. And it's funny because I told you guys before, if I myself, Xander's manager, me, I would have been like, we're not making this fight. We're not making this fight. If I'm Xander's size promoter, I'm like, we're not making this fight. We don't need you. The only way I'm fighting Boots is if he become the mandatory. And he's going to force the fight. Okay? If you're going to force the fight, then I'll go ahead and fight him. But if he's not mandatory, I'm not making that fight. Hell no. If I'm Xander's promoter. And what did Eddie Hearn say in the presser? The same thing that I told you guys a few weeks ago. I can't believe he's taking this fight. I would have never made this fight. I wouldn't have want to make this fight that he's taking it. So Xander Science is showing us that he's about that smoke and he's daring to be great. And it's like I told you before. If he lose the fight, if he get his ass kicked at only 23 years old, he can still go on a Hall of Fame run. He can still go on and accomplish like crazy. Why? He's the same age Canelo Alvarez was when he lost to Floyd, 23. You lose to Boots right now at 154, you can move to 160, win another title right away. Now you're a 2-division champion and go from there. Keep accomplishing. A loss, if Xander decides to take a L, his career is not over. He can still have an amazing career, which he's already having that. Come on, my people. Libre, I just hope it's a good fight. Xander has cojones. Win, lose, or draw. He got my respect. Gotta respect him, family. You got to. Because that's a young 23-year-old fighter. At that age, we're used to seeing the cherry picking. We're used to seeing the easy fights. We're used to seeing, the voluntary title defense over the guy that we never seen, we never heard of, who out there getting his ass whooped by everybody. We used to see that. Well, Xander Science is going for the biggest dog in Jerome Boots Ennis. And if he wins, if Xander Science pulls off the miraculous upset and wins this fight, he's on the pound-for-pound list the next day. You dish out Jerome Boots Ennis' first L, you're on the pound-for-pound list the very next day. And the stocks skyrocket. Now you're working on becoming a superstar. And the same thing with Jerome Boots Ennis. Now, remember, I'm telling you this ahead of time. If Boots win this fight, the Boots haters are going to say, yeah, but he caught him young. He only caught him at 23. He only caught him when he wasn't, mature. They're going to try to take that credit away from Boots. But nah, Jerome Boots Ennis is fighting a unified, undefeated world champion in Xander Sayas. Come on now. Side, that being said, I think he gonna get beat up. Pugilism. But have a lot to gain and nothing to lose. Claymore Rain. Brett Hackett. Oh, this one might be one fight too many at 154. This might be a fat camp more than a fight camp. And since you mentioned fat camp, Boots actually told him that yesterday. Boots was like, yeah, you in fat camp right now. You're in fat camp. He told Xander to his face. And I want to point something out. About that, right? Xander Sayas says he was just in camp because he was planning for a fight. That he's not in fat camp. I want to point something out. Because Xander did have a little belly. Like in the midsection, he looked like he still got a few extra pounds, right? But of course, they're going to cut weight. They're going to make weight. So I want to address the fat camp reference. Something to keep in mind. Boots is in better physical shape than Xander Sayas. That's not even up for debate. If right now, both guys stand in front of a mirror and take off their shirt, Boots is going to be in better shape. Why? Because he a gym rat. Even when he not fighting, Boots don't even be having a fight lined up. They be posting videos of him sparring. They be posting videos of him running or clips of him training in the gym where he don't even got a fight lined up. Boots has that similarity to Terrence Crawford, that he a real gym rat. So you're never really gonna see him with a little belly coming out like that. You never see him like that. Xander Sayas look like, he also a very disciplined fighter, but he take a little bit of time off. I don't know if he enjoy a few margaritas or something. He gained a little weight after his last fight. So who's in better shape? Boots right now. And why do I bring that up? And why did I bring up fat camp? Because if we're both in training camp to fight each other, but you're putting a lot of time into losing weight, that gives me an advantage for my training camp. Don't get it twisted. My training camp is going to be better than yours. You know why? Because let's say while you 10 pounds, or let's say while you 20 pounds over, and I'm only 5 pounds over, those 5 pounds that I'm over with a whole week to go, my workouts that I'm doing is going to help me burn that weight. I'm not going to have to do a lot to lose those 5 pounds in the last week. But you get to the last week with 15 pounds, and instead of working on your craft, on your counter punching, on your footwork, your angles, studying tape to see what you're going to do with Boots, instead of that, you're on fat camp. You're trying to lose weight. So while Boots is working on his sharpness, you out there running. You in a sauna. You doing all types. You jumping rope, chewing bubble gum and spitting. You doing everything to burn that away. And then you get to the fight and you're not the same. You're not. That happens a lot, by the way. And fighters just can't use it as an excuse. But you show up to the fight, pop dizzle after losing all that weight. And even if you show up to the fight in great shape, right? You rehydrated real good, but you still did not spend as much time working on your craft as your opponent because you was too busy trying to burn that weight off. So as far as the weight, Boots has an advantage because he's in better shape And he's going to spend less time trying to make 154 than Xander Sayas, which means he'll also be able to spend more time working on that craft, working on that game plan. Jermaine, subway type stuff. The letter M. Pancita power. Sayas gonna hit him with the devastating blows. I mean, I expect Xander Sayas to put up a real good fight. And I believe right now I can tell you, and I stand on that Xander has the tools and resources to pull off the upset. But he's the underdog. And I say he has the tools and resources to pull off the upset, but we all have to acknowledge and understand Jerome Bustos has more to the bag than Xander Sayas. He got more. And that's in pretty much any category that you can look at. Any category. If you look at the speed, if you look at the footwork, if you look at the defense, Bulls got him. They could be right there when it comes to power. When it comes to power, I think they're pretty evenly matched. But skills-wise, I think Bulls got him on everything. That's the reality. Side, they're going to say he's green. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to start hating on Boots. Oh, he only caught him at 23 years old. Jermaine McPherson. He young. He could have a long career ahead of him. He could go on a Hall of Fame run, my G. If Xander Sayas lose to Jerome Bustos, he could go on a Hall of Fame run right after that. Claymore Rain, box center. Do you think we can see an overrated Xander Sayas potential big lesson coming for an inexperienced champion? So this fight can end up playing out like Fernando Vargas versus Tito Trinidad. You remember that fight, right? So even though Trinidad gave Vargas a nasty stoppage at the end, stopped him brutally, but Vargas gave him hell. You remember Vargas dropped Trinidad and gave him a little adversity to deal with. So that could happen here, where Xander is really competitive, but then ultimately the more skilled, experienced fighter does what he do. Jermaine McPherson, I totally agree with you. And look, what I expect here is a fight where the young gun is there. He's dangerous because he really feels like he can beat this guy up, and he's not going to take no for an answer. And one thing about Xander, take a shot. I seen him get hit with hard shots and keep it moving. So you're not just going to hit him and he's going to fold. Claymore Rain, box center, overtrained. That could be an issue with Xander Sayas. That could be an issue. If they don't know how to rest, how to use their rest days, how to recover, that could be an issue because he was already in training camp. And now you're going to go into the Boots training camp. And you got to let the body rest. You got to allow the body to recover. So hopefully they do a good job with managing the load for Xander Sayas. The letter M. Boots is the more slicker, versatile fighter, but Zayas' potential is through the roof. He can apply pressure Boots never felt before. That's true. You see, that's the one thing about Xander Sayas, that he has the skill set to apply constant pressure. He has the skill set to make it a fight inside of the phone booth. And I think that's what's gonna be beneficial to him. I don't think he could beat Boots from the outside. Like we picking our shots from the outside. I don't think he could win that type of fight. So I think we'll see Xander Sayas applying pressure and making it an inside fight where we trading leather on the inside. Some guy just bought my ticks for the fight. Can't wait. Ooh, salute family and enjoy the fight. Enjoy it. The boxing advisor. Is it just me or does Boots look like he's not as big as normally is between fights? He's in real good shape, bro. Boots been in the gym. He didn't gain a lot of weight. It don't look like he gained much. Xander size look fat in front of him. So staying in good shape. That's what I see from Jerome Boots Ennis. I think it's also because he's been working with other fighters, probably sparring with them for their camp and preparing and all of that stuff. Been in the gym, so he didn't really gain much weight. Ronnie Bowie, do you think it goes 12 rounds? I think this fight has the potential to go 12 rounds. Anytime that you have two undefeated fighters who both been world champions, it's hard to predict a stoppage. You know, obviously, Boots, Sanders, neither guy ever been stopped. So it's hard to predict a guy like that will be stopped. It's possible, but I think we'll be shocked. Especially if Xander size knockout Boots, it'll shake up the world. I honestly don't see that happening, but when it comes to a stoppage, anything can happen in boxing, but I honestly don't see it. Right now, I haven't made my prediction yet, by the way. I haven't said who I think is going to win or lose. I haven't done it yet. I will. But I have to say, this fight right here is going to be just fireworks. I think a fight is going to break out early. I really believe it. I think Boots might try to apply pressure early, or Xander might say, let me show you what we got going on over here, and a fight breaks out. And we're going to see them trading some nasty leather. Jermaine McPherson, I don't think so. 12 rounds. The letter M. Zayas stops him by round 10. Ooh, shocking down. Flags waving. Crazy. Puerto Rico. Oh, Puerto Rico. Oh, y'all will go crazy. Jermaine McPherson, maybe 8. JMO, Jay Smith. Do you know Boots is going to slate that boy? I can't say he's gonna sleep him, bro. I'll give you an example. Boots didn't sleep Karen, fought him twice, and he didn't sleep him. Is Karen better than Xander Sayas? Hell no. Hell no. So, what are we talking about? I don't see Xander Sayas going to sleep. And I don't see Boots going to sleep. That's why if I had to put my money on it, I say the fight goes the distance. I say it goes the distance. Now, listen to what both guys are saying, because they did look, Shaggy, salute my brother, bam. They did look very confident. Both of them look super confident. Xander Sayas is saying, I'm going to take his heart away. I'm going to take his will away. Trying to beat him up. And then Boots is saying, it's going to go how I want it to go. I'm going to do what I want to do. So Boots on some, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to bully this kid. I'm going to bully you. They both got a mindset like they stepping in there to whoop their opponent's ass. JMO, after Boots sleep him, I'll be back on here to discuss this. We'll be here, my guy. We'll be here. Let's see how this fight plays out. But Jerome Boots Ennis and Xander Sayas, they're going to give us a heck of a show. They're going to give us a heck of a show. My peoples, Canelo Alvarez is back in training. Canelo Alvarez is back in training. Yes, sir. The expectations are that Canelo will be fighting again in September. In September. The letter M after Sayas smokes his boots, we will be here. Mr. KO Boots made fun of his head. He said his head is too big for him to miss. Who's going to be punching him in the dope piece? He's letting us know right now. So, my peoples, Canelo Alvarez is coming back in September. And you guys know, and I always say this, boxing is a what have you done for me lately sport. And what did Canelo do lately? He got his ass whooped. Got his ass whooped. You see how people react in boxing? If this was last year, people would have been crazy about the news that Canelo fighting in September. Most people ain't even talking about that shit. Most people ain't even talking about that shit. Fuck this nigga. He got beat up. Isaiah, as a boxer myself, who's both Haitian and Puerto Rican, I like both. I definitely favor Boricua more, but the problem is, and his footwork and jab from the first round. I think Boots, because of his edge in speed and footwork, is gonna have Xander Sayas looking to fight on the inside, looking to exchange with him. Because from the outside, you're just not gonna beat him. Not beating him from the outside. JMO, head too big to miss. Yo, Boots is a savage, bro. But yeah, my peoples, you see it. Canelo Alvarez is gonna be back in action in September. Now you know what happened in his last fight. Y'all remember what happened to Canelo? Isaiah and Philly show is incredible. Boots got it down packed. My peoples, Canelo. Some of you thought he was gonna beat Terence Crawford. Some of you told me he was gonna knock out Terence Crawford. And what did Terence Crawford do? Beat him up. Beat him up. And you had to watch that. You had to endure watching Canelo making funny faces as Crawford was punching him right in it. So, like I said, boxing is a what have you done for me lately sport. People not really talking about Canelo like that because he took a L in his last fight. But I told you guys before, and I got love for Canelo. Just because he got beat up, it doesn't mean that I don't got love for him, right? Let's see who he's going to fight in September. I think it's going to be in Billy. You guys know Mauricio the Goofball Sulaiman want Canelo to have that green belt, which right now I think Mbele is holding it. So he might be holding it for Canelo. You probably got Canelo versus Mbele next. The letter M. Remember when Crawford hit him so hard? He said, okay. Jermaine, I did at first, but whooped his ass. The letter M, trinket title. Isaiah, I'ma follow you, Papa. Keep doing your thing. Much love from NYC. And Canelo is still champion in my eyes, no matter what. Salute, Isaiah, and I appreciate you. And let me just say this. Canelo, you know, he's the face of boxing. I said it before. Just because he took a L, that doesn't change. Right now, he's still the face of the sweet science. I got mad respect for him, mad respect for his accomplishments, you know, what he's been able to do inside the ring. Gotta respect him. He did get beat up, though. Crawford beat him up. But I still got mad respect for Canelo Alvarez and what he's been able to accomplish. JMO, Crawford beat the hell out of Chucky. I'm telling you, man, gave him the beating that he needed to know that Crawford was the guy. Because that's the thing. If Crawford would have, like, edged out a win or barely got a split decision, then we would have been talking about Canelo got robbed or Crawford got gifted the fight because of Turkey or all type of other stuff. But he won in a way that we could unequivocally say Terence Crawford is better than Canelo Alvarez. That's it. JMO, Canelo, a.k.a. Mexican Chucky. The letter M. And to know Canelo wanted a second-ass whooping by Crawford. He bugging. Now, look, if they would have did the rematch, it would have played out exactly the same way. They would have played out exactly the same way. In fact, it may have played out worse. I think in the rematch, Crawford may have actually stopped them. Because if you remember, in round number 9, Crawford was teeing off on Canelo. Crawford started feeling himself, and he was already like, pop, 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 lumping him up. So I think, and he could have went for the stoppage in this fight. But I think also it's smart to stay within the game plan. You don't need to risk it. You're winning the fight. Because Crawford could have also made a mistake and got himself knocked out. Just because you're winning, and dominating your opponent, it doesn't mean that he's still not Canelo Alvarez with the knockout power, with the 40-something knockouts that could catch you with one of those and sleep you. He's still that dude. You dig what I'm saying? So ultimately, Crawford played it smart. He said, okay, we got this thing in the bag. Let's keep it going. Shakohan. Boo for cinnamon. Boo, my peoples. Come on, man. Fellas. This was the news of the day yesterday, man. This was the news of the day. Richardson Hitchens and Edgar Berlanga have signed deals with Zuffa Boxing. Dana White is for real, man. Dana White is for real, my peoples. The letter M. I was going to say that. Crawford didn't want to make any mistakes. Canelo kept coming. That's why. That's why I say it was a smart idea to just follow the game plan and secure that W. Because you could get reckless, get hit with a big shot before you know it, Crawford gets knocked out. And the whole history is different. Now you got the haters saying, look, I told y'all Crawford is a hype job. He was only there for a payday. It would have been disastrous if Crawford would have lost that fight. Because he wasn't going to get a rematch. He was going to have to retire with an L to Canelo Alvarez. Or try to come back now so that he don't leave with an L. That's his last fight. Queen, Canelo isn't and never was the face of boxing. I don't know. I don't know why you feel that way. Why you're in denial about it. But Canelo been the face of boxing. Been the face of boxing for years. When Floyd Mayweather stepped down, Canelo became the guy. See, that's what I want you to understand. Even though I predicted Crawford whooping his ass for a long time before it happened, and I predicted it many times. By the way, I posted some new videos, some new shorts. You'll see one of those predictions right there. I'm not going to disrespect Canelo like that. Come on, man. Look, I'm going to prove to you right now that Canelo is the face of boxing right now. I'm in the Dominican Republic, bro. Here in the Dominican Republic, the main sport is baseball. Most people don't watch boxing because baseball is our national sport, right? I could go to the corner store down the block and show them people a picture of Canelo Alvarez. Just a picture. And be like, yo, y'all know who this is? And they be like, yeah, that's Canelo. That's Canelo right there. I show them same people a picture of Tank Davis. And they'll be like, who's that? Is that like some rapper? Is that like some basketball player? Is that some athlete, some famous athlete or something? They won't know his face by looking at it. So my guy, on the world scale, the most recognized face in boxing is Canelo Alvarez, bro. That's what made him the face of boxing. He's the guy. There's no getting around that. And as a matter of fact, just look at the followers. I think social media is a great way to gauge somebody's popularity. Active fighters, Canelo Alvarez is the most followed across all social media platforms, bro. There's no fighter who has more fans following them than Canelo Alvarez. So there's your answer right there. The letter M. Hitchens will have the better Zuffa career over Berlanga. I mean, honestly, I don't know if Berlanga is going to get to grab one of them Zuffa belts. I think Berlanga is going to be a good fighter on Zuffa Boxing. And a star fighter on Zuffa Boxing because he already got a certain level of celebrity. But I don't know if he'll even become a Zuffa champion. Now, Richardson Hitchens, I could see it happening for him. I could see him grabbing one of them Zuffa belts. Mr. KO, Canelo was hitting with some good shots. He caught him with some good ones. And Crawford ate those. Ate those. JMO, that sounds crazy. Why would any boxer want to make mistakes in boxing? Sounds like haters. No, because the way that they frame it is that he could have went for the knockout and he didn't. He didn't knock him out. Like, why? It's about walking out of there with the W. That's what it's really about. The letter M. See, now I gotta come back. Canelo was the recognized face. If he wasn't, please tell me who was. I mean, I don't. When somebody say Canelo's not the face of boxing, they just leave me wondering. Then who do you think is the face of boxing then? Mr. KO. But it's like Canelo punches had no effect on Crawford. They didn't. I mean, he felt them. You feel them. He got caught with some good shots that I know he felt them. But he can handle them. That's the point. He was able to take those punches. Remember when people say, oh, imagine if Gamboa hurt Crawford, if he wobbled Crawford, imagine what Canelo's going to do to him. Not a goddamn thing. That's what you're going to do to him. JMO, Canelo lost his status of the face of boxing with the steroid. I lost a lot of respect and people will pretend it didn't happen. I mean, but you have to understand, my brother, you're talking about your opinion on Canelo Alvarez, and it's reasonable. If you say, look, I don't respect him and whatever it is about the steroids, that's reasonable, JMO. But you cannot take your feelings, your personal feelings about Canelo Alvarez and put it on everybody else because everybody doesn't feel like you. That's what you have to understand. If you don't like him, that's cool. But just because you don't like him or you don't respect him, you could still say, yo, I don't like the guy. I'm not feeling what he did, but he's still the face of boxing. You can still acknowledge it. He's still the face of boxing, my guy, because for him to not be the face of boxing, it would have to be somebody else. Who is it? Who is it? Then before, Berlanga is food for Zuffa. Oh, man, he's going to be food over there. I feel like he's going to be food. I feel like with Berlanga, they could get him some easy fights to keep him winning on Zuffa. Or they could do what they've been doing and put him there with some dogs and he gonna end up losing. He's going to end up losing. Berlanga's going to be a regular Zuffa fighter. Unfortunately for him. Shakur Hands, cinnamon toast crunched. He ain't ready for Bud. He never was, never will be. Anthony Jones, the Mexican Monster, is the face of boxing. Bro, the Mexican Monster is on the short list of fighters who has the potential to become the face of boxing. He's not the face of boxing right now. His level of popularity is nowhere near where Canelo's popularity is at. Remember, the face of boxing, that title goes to the most popular person in the sport. Benavidez has the potential to become the face of boxing. He has the potential. But now, my peoples, don't speed up on that. He's not there just yet. And just to give you the names, I told you these names before. The guys who are in the race to become the next face of boxing after Canelo Alvarez, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, David Benavidez, Jerome Bruce Ennis, and Tank Davis. Those five right there that I just named, the next face of boxing is going to be one of those guys. Unless Xander Sayers beat Jerome Bruce Ennis. If he beat Boots, he's also going to jump in that list of the guys that's trying to be that next face of the sport. Young Guns, I personally don't see a face of boxing today. Jermaine McPherson, Tank is the face. I still like Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao. The face is GTD. Nah, yeah, he definitely not the face of boxing. You see, you're a Tank Davis fans, and that's one thing I give it to Tank Davis fans are super faithful to Tank. But Tank, there is not one single number that you can show to say that Tank is the face of boxing. Tank don't got the most followers. Tank don't make the most money. Tank don't got the best resume. Tank don't have anything to make him the face of boxing. He's popular, and only his fans feel like he's the face of boxing. If you ask Tank Davis fans, he's the face of boxing. But if you ask the whole world, nobody else sees Tank as the face of boxing. Nobody. Nobody sees Tank as the face of the sport outside of Tank Davis fans. And it doesn't work that way. You can't be the face of boxing because your fans think you're the face of boxing. Doesn't work that way. See, Canelo's not the face of boxing because his fans think he's the face of boxing. He's the face of boxing because people who don't even watch boxing know Canelo Alvarez as a star boxer. That's what makes him the face of boxing. Tank Davis is not even close to the level of popularity that Canelo Alvarez achieved. Not even close. You could walk around here in the streets with a picture of Tank Davis. Ain't nobody gonna know who that is. Like, not with the belt, not dressed like a boxer. I'm talking about a picture of his face. You take a picture of Tank Davis' face and you walk around in the street, ain't nobody gonna know who that is, bro. You're not the face of boxing like that. You're not the face of boxing because your fans think you are. You're the face of boxing when non-boxing fans become your fans. Let me give you another example. Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather has fans who can't name you a single opponent that he beat. Who can't tell you nobody in his resume. Who can't tell you what division he fought in. That's what make him the face of boxing. That's what make you the face of the sport. When casuals and people who don't follow the sport, like, let me give you another example. Michael Jordan with basketball. There's people who never even saw Michael Jordan play, bro. Never even saw him play. But if you show that picture of MJ, they're going to say, oh, that's Michael Jordan. Young Guns, salute, family. People going to say, yeah, that's Michael Jordan. So that's what makes the face of boxing and the face of any sport. When you could take that face and put it anywhere and everybody recognize it, they have it. Popular and not for all the reasons, my man. Pugilism. Don't sleep on the small town Norfolk, Virginia. Geopolitics is polarizing, and we the home of the mightiest Navy protecting the peace. Salute, family. Bam. Anthony Jones. Why did Haney run from the fight? And I gotta say this. Look, Jermaine McPherson. Let me put you on the spot real quick. You said that you don't respect Canelo no more because of the steroid thing. But you seen Tank Davis on video dragging a girl by her hair out of a basketball court. You probably saw the video of him in the strip club dragging the girl downstairs. You know the allegations. You know that he's been arrested for beating chicks up. You respect him. So you don't got respect for a guy that you think this steroids because supposedly he was, he was cleared in that. But it doesn't matter what we believe. It's not about what we believe, right? But you're saying, I didn't say that, but okay, you didn't say that. But you say you don't respect Canelo because he cheated. And then you're saying that Tank is the face of boxing. So you're obviously not keeping the same energy for Tank Davis. You didn't say, well, I don't respect Tank Davis because he hit a couple of girls and he locked up for girls and he been in videos putting hands on women. You didn't say that you didn't respect Tank Davis for that. You see? So you're right, you didn't say that. It's not about what you didn't say, it's about what you said about Canelo that you didn't say about Tank. See, with Canelo, you don't like him, so you look for a negative angle. Boom, that's it. You got something. The third thing, you got something. You can hold on to that. But for Tank, yeah, the things that you could also pull up on Tank Davis to say that you don't respect him. Jermaine, I didn't say that. I respect Canelo. Clifton Dennis. One is as a man and one is as a fighter. It's a little different. Jermaine McPherson. But I'm a GTD fan for real, for real. No, and I feel you, Clifton Dennis. But the point is that respect is something that you kind of put a border on wherever you want to have it. So you can say, hey, I don't respect this guy for this, but for that, I'm gonna look away. That don't got nothing to do with me. So you kind of could easily pick and choose what you want to respect and what you don't want to respect, or what you want to point out and when you want to look away. And in reality, it's about, if you're gonna point at this guy for something that he did that's wrong, then let's point at everybody for stuff that they did that was wrong. Because ultimately, everybody will get caught slipping. Jermaine McPherson, I never disrespected him. No, I don't know if it was you. Maybe it was somebody else. But I did see somebody say, yo, I don't respect Canelo ever since this happened. So it's like, wait a minute. If you don't respect Canelo ever since this happened, how many other fighters do you not respect ever since they had a situation? Claymore Rain, athletes will forever be guilty of maximizing all their avenues to be optimal against their contemporaries. The line between even superhuman and optimal performance will always be told. And since you say that, I want to point out that when it comes to performance enhancement drugs, we really don't know who's been guilty, who hasn't been guilty, who just never got caught, who we really never know. You know, there's always going to be a certain level of deception. There's always going to look, there's going to be people who use shit and just don't get caught. Simple as that. And you don't know who's who. You don't know what's what. That's the reality. Mag Dump Music. Look at boxing for what's going on in the ring. If you're looking outside the ring, you're looking for a role model. Whoa, that's a good one. That's a good one right there. Wes does it. Peace. Jay Smith and Box Center family. Hit that like button. Like button activated, fellas. Bam. Max 7 Life. We know who never used PEDs. GTD. Facts. The letter M. Tank decision outside the ring have affected his career. So in a way, Tank did Tank. I mean, right now Tank is only 30 years old, right? So we can still get some great fans out of Tank Davis. We can still get, you know, some big fights where he accomplishes and he wins titles. And we want to see it, though. You want to see Tank fighting the best. Crack. Yeah, but Tank didn't disrespect boxing. He disrespected himself. Canelo disrespected the sport of boxing. He was allegedly proven to be innocent, but people will ignore that part of it. Anthony Jones. Girls say he hit no, but he was still wrong for dragging her. She trying to get paid. Let's tell the truth about it. Anthony Jones, that's not facts what you're saying, bro. That's not, you're not. I think maybe as a Tank Davis fan, you're not portraying it the way that it really went down. And I'll tell you, Anthony, if it was you, if it was me, if it was Claymore, if it was any of us, we'd be locked up for the same shit. Because what really happened, Anthony, let's call it how it really happened. What really happened is that Tank Davis decided that he wanted to have a girlfriend at a goddamn strip club. Tank was on some Captain Saberho shit. And that he was on some jealous shit. That he was on some, you gotta pick up the phone when I call. Don't be talking to no niggas at the strip club. And then when Shorty finally said, you know what, I'm not fucking with you no more. Nah, you violent, you be acting too crazy. Blocked him from everywhere. What did Tank Davis do? He showed up at her place of work, dragged her downstairs, pushed her a couple of times. You see the girl begging to please let her stay. Took her all the way to the parking lot, and as they was walking towards his vehicle, Shorty literally ran, like escaped from Tank Davis. Escaped. If you watch the video, she escaped, my G. So you downplaying it. When you're like, oh, yeah, but he didn't really hit her, you know, still in the wrong, but he didn't really hit her. and she just trying to get paid. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. Tank Davis, if you see what he did to that girl in that video in the strip club, that's the same shit he did to Shorty in the basketball court. The same shit. Grab Shorty in the basketball court in front of everybody that was out there, drag her to the back, and when the cameras followed him to the back, he dragged her to a separate room where nobody could see what happened. Now, what do you think he dragged her back there for? To read a couple of Bible verses? To pray together with her? So, Tank has a history of dragging women around and taking them out of view where nobody else could see them and what's going on. So let's not downplay like, oh yeah, it's just a girl trying to get money. Nah, it's not just a girl trying to get money, family. You're not telling the truth. You're telling a Tank Davis fan biased point of view. What Tank Davis been doing, you, me, all of us would have been locked up. Would have been in jail. Claymore Rain, if you been caught, you ain't been cheating. If you ain't been caught, that's right, you ain't been caught, you ain't been cheating. But ultimately, Tank was fucking with a girl from a strip club, man, and made that his girlfriend. That was mistake number one right there. You want to make a girl from a strip club your girlfriend? Please. That's some old Captain Saberho shit. Clifton Dennis. We never who's used. So it's only right to address the ones who get caught. That's facts. West does it. All the boxing insiders always say, your favorite boxer is probably juicing. Like how we always find out 20 years later, all those Olympians who confess at 50 years old. There's a lot of people who confess after they leave the sport. Jermaine McPherson, Tank versus Stevenson. I mean, that's a fight we all want to see. But Tank is ducking. Tank is ducking. Tank is ducking. That's the reality. Mag 7 Live. The video showed he didn't punch her. Mag 7 Live. What do you mean the video showed he didn't punch her? No, I never said that he punched her. You think because you didn't punch her, it's okay? You think you can show up to a woman's place of work and drag her outside and make her go outside? Don't you know that's kidnapping? Don't you understand that? Mag 7 Life, if you go to a girl's job and you tell her go outside, she says, no, please, no. You like, no, go outside. She's like, no, please. And you make her go outside. Don't you know you go to jail for that? You think you had to punch her in the face so you could get in trouble? Like, no, but he didn't punch her in the face. No, he only dragged her downstairs and forced her to leave her place of work. Like, y'all gotta, look, Tank Davis is fucked up in the game because of y'all. Unfortunately, because fans like you make Tank think that it's okay to do that shit. It make him think that it's normal that you could grab a girl from basketball in front of everybody. My fans is going to defend me. My fans are going to be like, but he didn't punch her though. So he do all that dumb shit because fans make it seem like it's okay. Mag 7 Life, you cannot go somewhere and drag a woman outside. You cannot go to a basketball court and drag a woman outside in front of everybody. And when people do that, the police, the judge, the jury, they're not going to say, well, he didn't punch her, though. He didn't punch her. Nobody's going to say that. But Tank Davis fans. Tank Davis fans, the only one I see on social media. Yeah, but he didn't really punch her, though. And I really seen that he didn't really. Forget about what you think he didn't do. Look at the video and see what he did do. The man is over there damn near doing a kidnapping on camera. And you're like, yeah, but he didn't punch her though. Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop doing that. You guys are enabler of athletes doing dumb shit because you try to defend them like that. Talking about, he didn't punch her though. Come on, man. The letter M. Tank failed for finding love in the club. Come on, man. I'm telling you, that was a Captain Saberho move. The bottle service girl, that's your girlfriend? That's the girl that got you blacking out? That got you chasing her around and doing some kidnapping shit? Come on, man. Mag 7 Life. When he dragged her, she was in front. It doesn't matter where she was in front, bro. You see in the video, even when they get to the staircase, he pushed her from behind. Like, he literally making her go leave her place of work. What are you not understanding that you can't do that, bro? You can't manipulate people and move them around like they're an item, like they're a slave. They go on their own will, and if they don't want to go, they shouldn't have to. You're missing that main point, bro. Sammy Chiba, Shorty was running for her life in that video. Like, yo, this man watched Tank Davis, watched that girl escaping from Tank Davis. Escaping. And you said over here talking about, yeah, but he didn't punch her though. Man, you don't know what Tank Davis was gonna do when he get in that car and get her out of there. I mean, what you think he was taking her for? Clifton Dennis. Shouldn't it be levels to assault? I mean, look, he's gonna get an assault charge off of that. If you grab somebody and you force them outside, that's an assault. He's on video assaulting her. You see in the video, there's a part that he's behind her and he kind of pushed her forward. He's on video assaulting her. The part about the kidnapping, that's where it's gonna get iffy. Because they trying to say, no, but she was going in her own will, but he's on video pushing her from behind. She's on video begging, please, please, let me stay, let me go. She's literally begging. And then how did she go back in? By escaping. This girl's on video escaping, running for her life. Being taken against her will. That's called kidnapping. We're going to see how this thing is going to play out. Anthony Jones. I seen some of the tape. I'm telling you. You see the tape. You can see that the girl is being taken out of the place against her will. It's called kidnapping. That's what that's called. Kidnapping, my peoples. Richard Sullivan. It's tender D. That's what we call it in the hood. Oh, shit. Then that tender D is going to be tender kidnapping charges. The letter M. This is on camera. Imagine what Tank does behind closed doors. You see, that's the thing. Sometimes the most fucked up things happen because people see what's going on, but they play dumb. They play stupid. We didn't see no proof on the video. We didn't see nothing. Motherfucker, have you seen the situations that Tank been involved with regarding women? You're not seeing there's a problem there? If you don't see that there's a problem there, maybe you got the same problem too. Maybe you got the same problem. If you saw that video and all you got to say, well, he didn't punch her. I didn't see him punch her. If that's all you got to say about that video, maybe you got that same problem too. Maybe you got to dig deep and see what you got going on with yourself. Because I see that video, I'm like, oh, shit. That's fucked up. It don't cross my mind. Well, at least he didn't punch her. Like, huh? You kidnap a motherfucker and you thinking about punching? Pugilism, pursuing the narrow gates, are in the minority. Bottom line is the majority of fans not in position to shame. The fans' duty is to bet on fights and get their money. Well, fans don't have a duty. Fans do whatever fans want to do. There is no duty. There's going to be some fans that'll look at it, and there's going to be some fans that'll look the other way, depending who you talk to. Max 7 Live. Jay, did you do a vid when Shakur punched a girl in the head? Well, when Shakur punched a girl in the head, I didn't even have social media. I didn't even have social media. Now, I do know that Tank Davis fans bring it up all the time, but outside of Tank Davis fans, nobody gives a fuck about some shit from, what, that was like 8 years ago, 10 years ago? Nobody gives a fuck about that shit. Outside of Tank Davis fans, nobody gives a fuck about that shit. Some shit from when Shakur was 20 years old or 19. Nobody paid mind to that. But to answer your question, I didn't have social media back then. If I would have had social media, I would have spoke about it. What am I doing speaking about some shit from 8, 9 years ago? And then not only that, I want you to consider this. Because, you know, you was dying to bring up a negative thing about Shakur. You see, we talking about Tank. You brought up a negative thing. Now, I want you to think about it. Tank is dealing with this right now. He's going to court right now for this. You're bringing up some shit from Shakur from 8-9 years ago that's in the past, in the background. Shakur's not dealing with that no more. And then not only that, how many times Shakur been involved in that type of situation? One time. We haven't seen Shakur fighting all over the place. Shakur doesn't have, he's not known. He's not known for going around getting into fights in the streets. So why would we be talking about it? Why would you be talking about it? Because you a Shakur hater, right? As a Tank fan, you by default become a Shakur hater. But who the hell is talking about Shakur fighting 8 years ago in the street, 9 years ago? Nobody but Tank fans. Nobody's talking about that. It's just something for you to bring up. But look at the difference. Shakur got caught on video one time in a fight like 8-9 years ago, and you still bringing that shit up. And Tank Davis already in 2 separate videos dragging women around. Dragging a woman out of a basketball court. Dragging a woman now from her place of work. Tank has been arrested multiple times for assaulting women. There's women who post. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? You really want to compare Tank legal troubles versus Shakur one fight that he got into? And look even how you frame it. You say, when Shakur punched a girl in the head. Shakur punched a girl in the head. It was like 4 people there throwing each other, and the girl was throwing punches, and she got mixed up in the shit. But out of that scuffle, the only thing, that scuffle from 18 years ago, the only thing that you mentioned, Shakur punched a girl in the head. That's all you got going on. That's a one-time situation. Nobody talking about it outside of Tank Davis fans. But Tank Davis is not a one-shot deal, my G. Y'all keep wanting to ignore the problem that Tank Davis got with women and the problem that he got with his controlling his behavior around women. Shakur don't got a behavior problem. If you want to keep bringing up some shit from 8-9 years ago, we could do it. But Shakur's not known for having a behavior problem, a behavior issue. Tank Davis is. At this point, he already shown a pattern of constantly having problem with women, of getting physical with women. He's shown a pattern. How can you compare the two? Bad comparison. Sammy Chiba, you can't just grab women by the back of the necks. That's assault, fam. I mean, that's easy. Tank is on video assaulting this woman. Recently, he's on video assaulting another woman. So what do Tank Davis fans got? Well, 8 years ago, Shakur got into a fight and he hit a girl in the head. 8-9 years ago, he never been in trouble again. He not known for that. But we just gonna keep rehashing that as long as we can. How much can you rehash that? The next time Tank beat a girl up, you're gonna bring that up again. Oh, but remember 10 years ago, Shakur, remember? You can't keep rehashing that for the rest of your life. Queen, don't care for Tank's TV. Dennis Moore, you know, talking about another man's business. We're allegedly news. Tank is the face of boxing. No, you're a weirdo for calling me a weirdo over a celebrity athlete. You definitely a weirdo. Take a 24-hour break, man. Come back with less weird shit tomorrow. Weirdo. JJ's in the house. He needs to pay the price regardless of what anyone of fans say. I mean, that's the reality. That's the life that we live in. You fuck up, you pay the price. But fans, they think, and I'm not one of those fans. I'm not one of them. But you have these extremist fans who they think that their favorite celebrity can do no wrong. So they're going to defend them no matter what. No matter what, I'm going to fight for him. Well, fight for him if you want. He don't give a fuck about you. And you look like a goofball. Wes doesn't. All you got to do is imagine if that was your daughter. Then it becomes clear. You see? All them goofy-ass Tank Davis fans, they don't ever imagine that, though. They don't ever imagine, what if that's your daughter? What if that's your sister? What if that's your mom's? Then how you going to feel about it? It's gonna feel different, right? The letter M, if you move a person, even from left to right, one step, it's a kidnapping charge. Force against a person's will. I mean, How people even watch that video and try to justify it or try to defend it or try to downplay it? Come on, I know that's what makes somebody a tankomaniac. You're a maniac. Maniac. Like I could look, and I've done it before. You could be my favorite athlete. But if you do some fucked up shit, I'ma say you did some fucked up shit. You fucked up. You wilding out. I'ma say it. But Tank Davis fans, they won't acknowledge that he done something wrong. They'll be like, he didn't punch you in the face on the video though. He didn't really do anything. God damn, you watch that video and say he didn't do anything? You gotta look at yourself in the mirror. You got some digging deep to do. You got some issues. Clifton Dennis, it kidnapping, but most juries were reduced after see the video like they actually did. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Like Clifton Dennis, I don't know how you see it like that. The jury's gonna see this girl running for her life, running to save herself. That's a bad video, bro. That's damning. Damning. What you think the jury's gonna? You think the jury? You see, that's the thing. You think the jury's gonna look at that video and be like, "Well, at least he didn't punch her in the face." They're not gonna put together a jury panel of tankomaniacs. They're gonna put regular people. Sometimes they're not even boxing fans. And what they're gonna see is a man aggressively forcing a girl to leave her place of work, forcing her to go to the parking lot, and the girl escaping. That's what they're gonna witness. I don't know what in that video makes you feel like the jury is gonna bring it down. That's not a really good video for Tank Davis, bro. Claymore Rain, these guys are cooked. Box Center is sad. These so-called men exposed the fallen state of our community. Absolutely no discernment. This was public image behind doors. I mean, bro, I think this is part of the mentality why the culture is fucked up. Why the culture is cooked. Because all these little things that we men do that are wrong, then other men should always highlight that. We should always say that you're wrong for that. But instead of that, we decide to take sides. So then there's a lot of men who see this guy's wrong, but they jump on his side and start saying, well, at least he didn't do this, and at least he didn't do that. And we shouldn't even look at those things. We should just look at the things he does in the ring. Let's ignore everything that he does that tell us that he's fucking up. And what do you do in reality when you defend and justify those actions? You know what you do? You bring in a whole new generation that's going to think just like them. You bring in a whole new generation that feel like, well, if I beat this chick ass, everybody's going to support me. Everybody's going to back me up. And that's what has to change. That's what has to change. Dudes got to stop picking sides. If a dude beat a chick up, if a dude drag a chick, if a dude do anything to a woman, y'all got to stop picking the man. You part of the problem too. It's because of people like you that they think I could do whatever because these people always gonna back me up. No point, my people. No point in doing that. Claymore Rain. I saw him punch a dude on the ground. I didn't see him punch a woman. Pugilism. Tank shouldn't be supported for his actions, but the business move on and always look at Tank in terms of money. It's a wicked game. It is. It is. It's a business. But ultimately, and I get it that people will look the other way because it's money to be made. But ultimately, this whole came out, right? Because of the people that don't respect Canelo Alvarez because he popped dirty, but they respect Tank Davis. Meanwhile, Tank Davis out there beating women up. If you don't respect Canelo over steroids, how the hell you respect Tank Davis? You shouldn't respect him either then. You should have that same energy. Like, damn, this dude out there beating women up. I don't respect that. Queen, wife, mother. If you're justifying Tank's behavior, you have thoroughly been effeminized. If you're justifying, I mean, I don't know why would somebody justify the behavior. I'm not going to say justifying the behavior means you've been feminized. I think justifying the behavior is more connected to people being extreme fanatics, extreme fans. Why? Because guess what? If the guy next door to you or the guy down the block from you did that same shit, you wouldn't support him. You'll be the first one like, yeah, that motherfucker gotta go. Pack his ass up. But it's Tank Davis. So because it's Tank, you're like, well, he didn't punch you on the video, and he didn't really do that bad. That's because it's Tank. You wouldn't take that shit from somebody down the block. You wouldn't take that shit from some dude dating your family member, dating your sister, dating your cousin. You wouldn't deal with that. Max 7 Life, damn, Jay, I've been here from day one. Where's my badge at? So Tank fans don't get badges? I'm going to tell you how you could get one. Tell you how you could get one. Look, you could get one today. Hit me up right here. And for those, my peoples, for those who don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, my peoples. I post a lot of exclusive content on there. That's my IG, J Smith 134. Well, J _ Smith 134. You see it right there. Follow me on that IG. Send me a message. Yo, Jay, this is Max 7 Life. Send me a message on there. I'll verify you, and you got your badge. You'll get in your badge. The letter M. See, and that's fair. We all human. You fuck up, then you fucked up. When do you man up? It's the bigger question. But we have to understand, you don't have to man up if whenever you fuck up, people support you. You don't have to man up. No need. Pugilism. Tank and Clarissa Shield can shock the world, coming to terms and acknowledging the role of men and women. I mean, Tank and Clarissa, they don't even like each other. I think they don't even need to be talking to each other. Just alone. As many people seen that video and they do not believe it, but they watched the P. Diddy video and believe that one. In my opinion, people are weird. That's the thing. People choose to believe what they want to believe. They choose to judge who they want to judge. And then they decide when they just want to look the other way and act like, there's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. People choose when they want to do that. Claymore Rain. Back center. Do you see Shakur hit a woman? I seen that. And I think it's hilarious, Claymore Rain, that so far, every time Tank Davis had been in a situation with a woman, people bring that up. That shit happened like 8, 9 years ago. If I'm not mistaken, Shakur was like 20 or 19. And I'm going to say that was an isolated situation because before that, he never been in a situation like that, or after that, he never been in a situation like that. And the thing is, Claymore Rain, he was hitting the guy. And I think there was a moment where the girl was jumping in and his arm did hit her. But there was never a moment where he was actually hitting the girl. You see, I don't think he never actually hit the girl. But you see how they categorized it. Punching women in the head. But he didn't actually look at the girl and punch her. That never happened in the video. He was trying to hit the guy. The guy went down. He was trying to hit him. The girl tried to jump in front of him swinging. And that's how he may have actually, because it's not clear that he hit her. But His arm, his wailing around may have actually touched her, but he never actually punched her. He never did. But again, Claymore, that's an isolated incident that took place 8, 9 years ago. There's no need for us to even be talking about it. There's no need for us to even be talking about it. Right this very moment, Tank Davis is out on bail because he damn near kidnapped a girl out of her place of work. That's going down right now. We're really gonna let Shakur Stevenson haters make the topic of conversation some shit from 8, 9 years ago? That shit is delusional. Then if 3 months from now Tank Davis punch a chick or kidnap another chick, then Max 7 Live is gonna be here. Yeah, but y'all remember when Shakur hit that girl all those years ago? And every time Tank Davis does some new shit, but y'all remember? They're gonna keep rehashing the same thing over and over. And it's like, come on, man. Come on. Max 7 Live. That happened 8, 9, 10 years ago. How many times are you gonna bring that up? You got Max 7 Live, you're gonna find yourself bringing that shit up for the rest of your life. You're gonna bring that shit up the same way y'all remember how y'all kept bringing up if Gamboa hurt Crawford, imagine what Arrow's gonna do to him. It ain't do shit. It ain't help Arrow. If Gamboa hurt Crawford, imagine what Canelo's gonna do to him. Like, you literally said that Gamboa hurting him meant somebody else was gonna beat him. You said that for Crawford's whole career up until his last fight. His last fight. Y'all was still like, yo, if Gamboa hurt him, imagine what Canelo's gonna do. Last fight, y'all still was doing that. So with Shakur, Max 7 Live, you're gonna be doing that. You don't realize how goofy it is. Every time Tank Davis do something, yeah, but remember when Shakur punched a girl 10 years ago? How many times can you rehash that? Nobody but you remember that shit. Nobody talks about it. Nobody posts about it. It's just you bringing it up over and over. Every time Tank Davis fuck up. Ronaldo, once Tank get past this, he has to fight Shakur and everyone else. At this point, he's almost as much a liability as he is a cash cow to boxing. So I'm going to say this. Tank Davis, if he decides that he wants to fight everybody, like if he's going to go after Shakur, after Devin, after Tio, everybody, if he does that, I could picture him retiring with a record of like 42-1. 45-2, 40-1. Like, he's gonna beat a lot of people. And he'll probably take 1 or 2 losses along the way. I got Shakur beating him. Maybe Devin beats him too, or maybe Tio beats him. But the point is that he will win most of his fights. If he decides I'm fighting everybody, he'll win most of the fights. And retire with a great resume and a great record. Is he going to do that? We don't know. We don't know. That's the reality. Claymore Rain, he punched the dude around the girl. Did he physically touch her? Yes. But punch her in the head? What a reach. Well, I didn't see no punch to the head. But I let the Tankomaniacs say whatever they want to say. Because this is not going to be the first situation when Tankomaniacs shape it up to be whatever they want it to be. And not what it actually is. This is not the first one. I'm used to that. I'm used to the delusional stories made up the way they want it to be. Pugilism. As bad as Tank and Shakur made their poor choices, Iron Mike Tyson life under the microscope and receiving grape in the Hangover movies shows their hope. Flip mode. You know they say something that you do will follow you for the rest of your life. I guess that's true. The letter M. Tank is young. He needs help, and I hope he finds peace and changes. Grow as a man and take accountability. Start now. So I'm going to say this, the letter M. For those talking points, Tank is not young. For a fighter, he's young. 30 years old, you're in your prime. You're young. But for behavioral issues, to be hitting girls and to be getting in that type of trouble, you 30 years old. You a grown-ass man. You know better. There's a reason why you drag them outside of the camera views. You know better. But it leads to the question. If you grab this girl in front of all this camera, look, in the basketball court, when Tank Davis dragged the girl off the basketball court, that place had mad people in there. Like 10,000 people in there watching. Like 10,000 people watching that shit. And he did it in front of everybody. Whoop! Dragged out of the basketball court. When cameras go to the back, chase him, dragged out of there too. To a different room where nobody could see what's going on. I don't know. Maybe he took her there to read the Bible. You guys can speculate what you think he dragged her out to a private spot for. You figure it out. I'm not even going to throw anything out there. And now this girl, he goes into a strip club where he knows there's cameras everywhere. There's cameras everywhere. And you see Tank Davis at least 2 different times where she turns around like, come on, please, please. Push her out, go. Taking her out. So if Tank is doing this in front of a crowd of people, in a strip club, in front of the cameras, in front of her co-workers, what the hell do Tank be doing with these women when they're in private? When there's nobody there that could see anything? What the fuck he be doing with them? I have an idea. I'm not going to say, but I have an idea of how shit go down when they're alone and there's nobody there. Ronaldo, 30 ain't young. Once you hit 25 and get that auto insurance discount, you grown. That's it, you grown. At 30 years old, you're a grown-ass man. You know, if you're involved in these situations and you 18, you 19, okay, yeah, you got shit to learn. You got shit to learn. You got shit to work on. But you 30, salute family, bam. You 30? Nah, bro. At 30, you don't get away with, oh, well, he's still young. That's it. You got to handle business. Kevin, you got a fair point there about Tank. Salute, family. Appreciate you, brother. And I tell you, and I said this before, at 30 years old, Tank Davis still has the time to have a great career. I would say he's had a great career financially because he's made a lot of money. But as far as his record goes, his resume is not, he has a good resume, not a great one. At 30 years old, Tank Davis could end up getting in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, with Devin Haney, with Teofimo Lopez, with Gary Antoine Russell, with Richardson Hitchens, with a bunch of other names, big names. Tank Davis could have a crazy career when it's all said and done. But we have to see. We have to see how this legal situation plays out and who is he going to fight next? Because right now, we don't really know. We have no clue, my peoples, who Tank Davis is going to fight next as of right now. But we'll find out. We'll find out, my peoples. Anyways, Trent Thomas, salute family, bam. Flip mode. I like to stay away from these type of topics when it comes to boxer. I want these guys to get their in the ring and box. The with the extra shenanigans. Max 7 Life, his last 10 opponents, 9 of them was world champions. Y'all gotta stop saying his resume is just good. Max 7 Life, his last 10 opponents, 9 of them was world champion. That's a lie. You see Max 7 Life? That's what you Tankomaniacs do. You take the truth and you twist it and you turn it into whatever you want it to be. The first thing is, Ryan Garcia had never been a world champion when he fought Tank Davis. He became a champion after. Pitbull Cruz had never been a world champion before he fought Tank Davis. He did that after. A lot of these people had never even fought for a title, but you decided that they were world champions after they fought Tank Davis. They wasn't champion before he fought him, bro. Stop lying. Stop manipulating the facts. Stop manipulating. Look at this. Look at this. I want you to see Max 7 Life, the difference between telling the Tankomaniac version of a story and telling the real version of the story. In his whole career, Tank Davis has fought three reigning champions. Three. Little Leo Santa Cruz, which he moved down to fight him, and Mario Barrios, which he fought for a secondary title. And then, of course, his first one, Pedraza. Tank Davis has fought three reigning champions. He fought three guys who had a belt, and he took it from them. You see how far is the difference from the reality between the world that you want to paint for Tankomaniacs? According to you, Tank beat 9 champions out of his last 10 fights. Meanwhile, he only got 3 reigning champions in his entire career. You got to start expressing yourself with honesty. That's the problem with Tankomaniacs. According to y'all, everybody's a champion and he got the best resume in the world. And it's like, bro, have you not seen the champions that he beat? Max 7 Life, his resume is still better than Shakur. However you slice it. Who in Tank Davis' resume is better than Teofimo Lopez? Name one person. Name one person in Tank Davis' resume that got a better resume than Teo. Let me just remind you, Teo is a unified champion. It's a multi-division champion. It's a lineal champion. Ring Magazine champion. Who in Tank Davis' resume got a better resume than Teofimo Lopez? Take your time. Take your time. By the way, Shakur Stevenson beat reigning champions. Oscar Valdez, Jamel Herring, and Teofimo Lopez. Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis beat the same amount of reigning champions. The only difference is that one of the reigning champions that Tank Davis beat, Mario Barrios, had a secondary title. Tank Davis never fought for a title at 135. Tank Davis never fought for a title at 135. Did you know that? Do you know that he got a vacant title? Just washed up Gamboa. Never fought none of the champions. Did you know that when he fought for that secondary title at 140, there was an undisputed champion? And he fought Mario Barrios for a secondary title? Did you know that? Disgusting. Disgusting. Tank Davis has held one main title in his whole career. And that was at 130. You've been clinging on to the 135 division since you was 25 years old and never fought a single world champion. What are you talking about, Max 7 Life? Y'all get cooked too easily trying to talk about resume. Flip mode. Jay, you moving in good faith. Keep doing your thing, brother. I will always be in your corner. Appreciate it, my G. Appreciate you 100%. And everybody else who's tuning in on Box Center 2.0, my peoples, you know, Boxing for Breakfast is for you guys so that we could get the sweet science from Mondays through Fridays, nice and early in the morning. Toy Mafia, bam, the letter M. On top of that, Tank too big for 135 already. He can't even make 135 anymore. Can't even make 135 anymore. I told you guys this before. Before he got in the legal situation that he's in, before he was going to get in the ring with Jake Paul, I told you, Tank is not going to be able to keep making 135. Think about your own body when you was 25 and then when you was 30. Your shoulders are bigger, your head is bigger, you're bigger. So he's bigger, but still shrinking down to 135. Can't keep doing it anymore. You're weight draining yourself. If he keep making 135, he's going to show up and get beat up. Not because somebody was better than him, but because he was weight drained and he couldn't do it. So he has to move up to 140. Doesn't really have a choice. Max 7 Life. So Tank, too big for 135, but Shakur is not. What are you talking about? Shakur already fought at 140, won a title at 140. I'm not talking about who's too big and who isn't, but just in case you didn't know, Tank is older than Shakur Stevenson. Tank is 30. Tank is 30. So with Tank being 30 years old, and he been at 135 longer than Shakur because he was at 135 when Shakur was 30, what does that tell you about Tank? He a weight bully trying to cling on to 135 to fight little guys. The letter M. Shakur is staying at 140 plus. Max 7 Live. And Shakur is two-time Tank size. What are you talking about? Tank became a world champion at 140. Tank beat Mario Barrios at 140. And went back down to 135 to keep weight bullying little guys. Brought Lamont Roach from 135. Max 7 Life. How many fighters from 130 Tank Davis fought while he was at 135? Let me see. First, he brought Androide Garcia from 130 to 135. Then he brought Lamont Roach from 130 to 135. And then he went from 135 down to 130 to fight Leo Santa Cruz. My nigga moved up to 135 and already fought 130 pounders since he been at 135. Bro, do you not see the weight bullying? Do you not see the weight bullying that's going on? My man's moved up to 135 and already fought 130 pounders. That's all you need to understand what's going on. My peoples, a shout out to everybody who tuned in to this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Thirsty Thursday, my peoples. Let me give you the Jay Stradamus words of the day. For this Thirsty Thursday, I want to remind you, and because we're having this conversation, my peoples, hold other men accountable in real life. This is social media. But in real life, hold men accountable. You don't see another man manhandle a woman and just stay quiet. I'm not saying that you're going to jump in and get into the fight and do physical shit. But be the one to tell them, B. Be the one to tell them. Don't do that. Don't put your hands on women. Don't look for excuses or reasons to put your hands on women. Be the one who talks against that shit. Don't be the guy who defends it. Don't be the guy who justifies it. Be the guy who champions for women, who defends women. Come on, my peoples. To me, that should be embarrassing. When I see people talking about, well, Tank Davis, he didn't really punch her, though. He didn't punch her. When I see that, I be embarrassed, my peoples. Like, damn, man, there's really men out there who think like that. You could watch a woman get abused, but it's a celebrity, so fuck her. She's trying to get money. Huh? Come on, my peoples. We got to do better than that. We got to know how to hold each other accountable when we do wrong, fucked up shit. Raul Mercado, good morning, brother. Salute, family. Bam, Trent Thomas. Indeed. We got to take care of the women, my peoples. You got a mom. You can have a sister. You can have a daughter. That could be her getting her ass whooped. That could be her. That could be somebody that's related to you getting her ass dragged out of her place of work and having to escape from a nigga. Then it hurt your feelings. No, it's supposed to bother you when any man does it. Not just, it don't bother you when it's a celebrity that you like. Now you're willing to look the other way. Come on, man. We got to be better than that. Trent Thomas, no excuse for violence against women. 100% facts. 100% facts. Pugilism, defend women and don't let women fall into the trap of trapping you. Facts. Claymore Rain, that's simple, Box Center. The women in this community feel the same. They're empathetic with this trash behavior as well. They defended this dude too. I'm going to tell you like this, Claymore. I'm going to tell you like this right now. And that bothers me to see what I'm about to say. I see too many African-American women jumping on social media to fight tooth and nail for Tank Davis. It's like, damn, yo. You seen what black women go through all the time, and you're going to defend this shit? That's crazy. That's why I say sometimes people reach a certain level of of just a fanatic, just such a fanatic that they don't care about anything other than defending their favorite athlete no matter what. It's like, come on, man. Why would you want to defend this type of behavior? It's just not right. And not only that, when you defend that type of behavior, that's what you teaching the next generation coming up. That's what you're teaching the kids that are coming up, that that's acceptable behavior. And it's a culture issue. It's just a culture issue, my peoples. Because I'm going to give you an example. And I'm going to show you right now it's a culture issue. Watch this. You guys know I live in the Dominican Republic. Right here in DR, if you go outside, let's say you beat up a girl or you get into a fight with a girl, whatever happened, you have a situation with a girl, right? And you get locked up, boom, for that situation, everybody turn their back on you. Everybody turn their back on you. As simple as that. You're not gonna have people say, well, but what about somebody else did what he did too, or somebody else did that. The focus is on you. So if you get popped today for doing something crazy against women, everybody gonna focus on you. Ain't nobody gonna be out there in the streets talking about, yeah, but 5 years ago this other kid did something too. Nobody give a fuck about that. You gonna be the focus. And everybody's going to hold you accountable. You're not going to see no free my boy shirts, free my G shirts. You're not going to see that. Everybody's going to turn their back on your ass. And everybody in the streets, when you come up, they're going to be like, yeah, that nigga fucked up. He fucked up. That's what happens. Even your friends will be like, yo, that's my guy, man. But he fucked up. He blacked out. He locked up. He cooked. But there's a culture in the U.S. where you go out and you kill somebody, you're going to jail for 25 to life, and motherfuckers in your black wearing your shirt. Free my boy. Free my G. Free my boy. Right? You see that a lot. What you mean free my boy? My boy is in there for murder. The murder 3 people, doing 25 to life, doing 30 years. What you mean, free my boy? Do you not understand that the concept of holding somebody accountable for their actions? That's the problem. People don't know about accountability. They don't get that. They such fans of somebody that they don't care about the fucked up things that they do. Instead, they look for other people to point out, yeah, but look at this other person and look at that other person. They look to do anything other than hold the guilty party accountable for their actions. And that's a big problem, my peoples. That's something that fucks up the culture. Why? Because if you see a 12-year-old kid, a 13-year-old kid coming up who sees that his uncle beat the crap out of his aunt, or see the dude up the block beat the crap out of his wife, and everybody got their back, and everybody justifying it, that 13-year-old kid is going to grow up thinking that's normal. That's perfectly fine. Everybody got his back. Nah, not over here in Dominican Republic. You hit a chick, nobody got your back. Everybody like, well, he fucked up. He cooked. He fucked up. You got to deal with the consequences. No such thing as, yo, free my boy. Free my boy? I'm sorry, but my boy needs to be locked up. He fucked up. That's the truth. People be out there talking about you doing life for murder. Free my boy. What you mean free my boy, man? Shut the fuck up. What the fuck you mean free my boy? That nigga need to be locked up. Pugilism. There's no accountability because the code is off each other's preference. Claymore Rain, I'm 48. I just can't co-sign bullshit. I got two daughters, 24 and 16, still black and I'm gonna be 48 in June. Be 48 in June. That's a few months. We the same age. And that's what it's about. We do not hold people accountable. And it's not just for athletes, even in the block where we at. Athletes do fucked up shit just like regular people. Athletes are human beings just like me and you guys. Look at Max 7 Life. Max 7 Life, his focus is defend Tank Davis no matter what. Defend. Look. That's how you know when society is cooked. Max 7 Life will defend Tank Davis, will point out Shakur Stevenson, some shit from 10 years ago, will try to really put focus on it, will mischaracterize what happened with Shakur Stevenson all those years ago, while at the same time ignore Tank Davis' pattern behavior. Max 7 Life seen Tank Davis dragging multiple women around, but he and make a whole conversation about Shakur Stevenson when he was 19 years old. Instead of acknowledging and understanding, damn, yo, this dude got a problem with women. He keep getting involved in situations with women. Obviously, there's a problem here. At no point in time, Max 7 Life has held Tank accountable in this chat. He's pointed at Shakur. He's pointed at other people. But he's never say, yeah, what Tank do is fucked up. And then when Tank Davis got friends and surround himself with people who act and think like that, that's what allowed him to keep doing it because he don't think he's wrong. Nobody hold him accountable. Everybody point at something else. That's the reality, my people. Max 7 Life, I never seen Tank strike a female like I seen Shakur do. But yeah, Tank is still wrong. You see? That's the point. Look what you say. You never seen him do something, but yeah, he's still wrong. You don't really hold him. You see, that's not called holding somebody accountable. Life. You've been holding Shakur accountable, and you keep bringing Shakur up. Every time you say something about Tank, you link him up with Shakur. That's not holding Tank accountable. That's not how you hold somebody accountable. You don't want to hold Tank accountable. And that's why he's the type of person that he is with women. Because he surrounds himself with people like you who won't hold him accountable. Trent Thomas, blind to facts, can't see any wrongdoings. That's the reality. When you become a tankomaniac or you know, an extreme fanatic of an athlete, every time they fuck up, what do? You point at somebody else. What Trent Thomas, what Max 7 Life got? He got Shakur Stevenson. He gonna bring up a Shakur Stevenson shit from 10 years. That's all he got. Well, Shakur did 10 years. I saw him do something. And Tank got a pattern issue. Keep having issues with women. What happens in 1 year or 2 years down the line when Tank do something with another chick? Max 7 Life is gonna be like, yeah, he did it again. But Shakur, that one time 10 years ago, remember that? Tank surround himself around people who think like that. Who think about finding a good angle to him. Who, look what you said, Max 7 Life. I never seen Tank struck nobody. So you want to find positive things that you can say to justify your point of view. Tom Seaver, Tom rather fight women than Roach. I mean, look, wait a minute. Let me say this. I saw a report where they said that Tank Davis is pushing the PBC to make the rematch with Lamont Roach. That he don't really want to do the rematch with Pitbull Cruz, which I agree with. I agree with that. Claymore Rain, we will agree to disagree. I didn't see Shakur punch a girl. There was a man who was in the crosshairs. You want to shame the accountability. That's sad. You see Claymore Rain, and that's what I'm talking about. I seen the video. There is no moment in that video where you see Shakur clearly punching a girl. But again, when you have that mindset that you're an extreme fanatic, you need to find ways to put the attention on somebody else. So Max 7 Life is going to try to keep trying to focus on Shakur. Notice the moment Tank Davis came up and what he's been doing, Max 7 Life has been like, Shakur, 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 Shakur. He going hard with Shakur. Why? Because that's the way that you can change the conversation from Tank Davis going to a girl's place of work, dragging her outside, damn near kidnapping her, the girl having to run for life, escape from Tank Davis. That's the way that you take the focus away from that. You bring up a situation from Shakur from 10 years ago, and you keep drilling on that because you don't want to hold Tank Davis accountable for constantly having these situations with women. Dylan Sanders, what's up, brother? Salute, family. Bam! In the building. Tyree Howard, ratchet women get you in trouble. So I have to agree with that. But ratchet women don't get you in trouble if you're not willing to put your hands on women. If you're not willing to put your hands on women, ratchet women, you know what you do with them? You walk away from them. Man, fuck this hoe. You walk away, you leave her alone. But if you're willing to put your hands on them, you stay right there, and then one day you flip out, beat the shit out of them. That's just the way that it plays out. So if you're somebody who doesn't have, or who has a temper issue, or who has emotional issues, then you shouldn't mess with ratchet women. You shouldn't mess with them. You should not mess with them. Max 7 Life. See, this is the problem. Y'all downplaying. We downplay what Shakur. Max 7 Life, take a 24-hour break, man. Nobody downplaying it. That happened close to 10 years ago. It's not that we downplaying it. You keep bringing it up when it's irrelevant. It happened 10 years ago. We spoke about it 10 years ago. You've been talking about it for 10 years. I don't know how much longer you're going to talk about it for. You've been talking about Shakur in that situation for the last hour. Guess what, Max 7 Life? I gave you a 24-hour break. But the next episode that you bring up that situation, I'm blocking you, bro. I'm blocking you. Because nobody else is talking about some shit from 10 years ago other than you. That's not a topic of conversation. Nobody's downplaying some shit from 10 years ago. You don't realize it, but you're making yourself look like a goofball. But you keep drilling on some shit from 10 years ago when Shakur never been involved in that again, doesn't have a pattern behavior, doesn't have any other situation that you can address. You just holding on to one thing. Every time Tank Davis does something, the next time you bring it up, I'm going to block you, bro. And you won't be the first person that I block because you go in the live and you keep bringing up the same shit. Nobody talking about that, bro. Just let it go. Let it go or bring it up in another channel because the next time you bring it up here, you're getting blocked. You already been brought up for a whole hour. Some shit from 10 years ago that nobody's even talking about. Pugilism. Sounds like from outside should fight in the ring. Everybody wins. Boxing in the ring forgives. That's accountability and gentleman code. Boxing. Look, we have to get that fight. It's like that's one of those fights that has to happen. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. But honestly, we don't know if it's going to happen. We don't know. We don't know. Tank Seaver. Tank has repeated offenses. But I spoke about that earlier. Because this goofball over here keeps bringing up Shakur's situation from 10 years ago. And it's like, bro, that was one situation. It's called an isolated case because we've never seen it before or after. Why would you compare that to Tank Davis, who's been arrested multiple times over situations with women, whose last arrest was months ago, who's dealing with a legal situation right now? Why would you bring Shakur into that conversation? You know, I didn't block him because this is probably the first time he do that dumb shit. I said, I'm on a little 24-hour break. Go relax over there. And when you come back tomorrow, never bring that up. Never bring that up in your life or I'm blocking you. You acting like a dummy. Claymore Rain. Facts. I apologize for participating in the foolery. I mean, I participated too. But Claymore Rain, that's what fanatics are going to do. They're going to suck us into the conversation that they want to have to the conversation that we're having. That break. The next time he mentions Shakur hit somebody, block. You out of here. Now we know you're a dummy. The letter M. Would the Tankers turn their back on Tank Davis after a loss? Probably yes. They're going to do Tank the same way that they did Arrow. The same way. Ronaldo, what weight would Tank fight at since he's too big for 35? And who should he fight? He's going to fight at 140. We don't know yet. It could be Pitbull Cruz. Supposedly they was talking about making that fight. Supposedly he expressed interest in wanting Lamont Roach. So we don't really know. They don't have an opponent yet. But it's going to be at 140. Trent Thomas. Tank needs to get his act together. Get back to business of boxing. Look, Tank, the Charlo brothers, and a few other fighters out there who've been inactive. Get your shit together. You guys are elite level fighters, elite level world champions. We want to see you fight. Tank is one of the best in the game. One of the most talented in the game. But he got to get his shit together. His personal life might take away a lot from his career. Tyree Howard, Tank needs mentors. I agree with you 100%. I agree. He needs to be, because that's the thing. You reach a certain level of celebrity where, you know, you just have your entourage. You surround yourself with a bunch of ass kissers. Surround yourself with the goons. And you know how the goons going to do it. They're going to laugh at your every corny ass joke. They're going to think everything that you do is cool and everything that you do is the shit. So you start to believe it. You start to believe that you can get away with doing all this shit. Some guy, boxing is definitely better when Tank and everyone else is active. Come on, we want to see it. We want to see it. And with Tank Davis being 30 years old, this is the time, the perfect time for him to start fighting the big names, the big dogs. Get in there with Shakur Stevenson. Get in there with Teofimo Lopez. Get in there with Gary Antoine Russell. This is the time. Trent Thomas. Time doesn't wait for anyone. That's a fact. The letter M, like Charlo's crew, they tell him he runs Texas. Man, runs Texas. What the fuck is that? My peoples, I'm about to get the hell out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. Greg Hackett was in the building. Claymore Rain was in the building. The letter M, Trent Thomas, some guy, Tyree Howard, Ronaldo, Pugilism, Tom Seaver, and everybody else. JJ Zendejas was in the building. Imada 210, salute family. Bam! And everybody else who tuned in, man, y'all already know what it is. I'm Jay Smith. This was another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Tomorrow, we're going to be on it at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Damn, over 2 hours, my people. We didn't even get to 50 likes. This was brutal this morning with the ghost watching and the sneak hating. But it's still all love, my peoples. Y'all already know how we do it. Jay Smith, I'm signing off. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, man. Let's meet up over here tomorrow morning. We're going to be talking this boxing shit. Peace. My peoples, there you have it. Thursday's episode of Boxing for Breakfast has been completed. I hope you guys enjoyed it, watching the behind the scenes and whatnot. I'm out of here, my peoples. I got to go get my money now. Bam!